How many times, I'm sorry if I don't remember, how many times have you worn sunglasses when you hit in the past? And you were the only guy, I think, yesterday who was wearing them. Why are you comfortable with that? And maybe are you telling other guys to do that today?
I mean, it's all personal preference. I mean, for me, it started for me back in 2018. I was playing a game in Colorado, and it was a day game. It was bright, and they were wearing white jerseys because it's kind of hard to see. It felt like the center fielder was kind of standing where the ball was being thrown out of, so just wanted to make it a little bit darker. And felt like it was good, and ever since then, I've just worn sunglasses in the day. Yeah, I mean, I think it's all personal preference, right? Like, a lot of guys are, like, if you think about it, a lot of it comes down to, like, what eye dominant you are. If I'm a right-handed hitter and I'm right eye dominant, and so now I'm looking kind of at the pitcher, and then you might be seeing a nose piece, you might be seeing something else. Like, I'm left-handed but right eye dominant, so I don't really notice the nose piece. So, a lot of guys talk about that, but yeah, I mean, it comes down to personal preference and what you want, go from there.
Okay. We're going to go in the second row there, Howard.
Hey, Kyle. Your numbers are up this year, and mostly on the strength of not just hitting against lefties, but hitting successfully against sinker sliders against lefties. And I'm wondering how much that was a focus in the offseason, and how replicable that feels, that jump you've made this year.
Yeah, for me, it's like you try to identify things that you want to work on, obviously from both sides of the mound, right, where it's right-handed, left-handed pitchers. And, I feel like that if you're able to try to work on a lot of different things, if it's, working on just a lot of different pitches in general, and trying to figure out the best way to attack the baseball is, I feel like it's a positive thing to do. And, you make adjustments throughout the course of a season, throughout the course of an off season. You look at your numbers from the previous year, and obviously you take a deep dive into that, and then you have an off-season plan that you try to go in with, and then you make little adjustments as the year go on. But, if I feel like that, I've definitely felt, more comfortable, against, a lefty that, I feel like that if I can kind of bridge that to, guys behind me, if they try to bring in a lefty in that spot, you get Trey with a guy on first base, whatever it is, and then Harp's coming up with a guy, that's big.
Okay, we're going to stay there in the middle.
Kyle, you've talked about visualizing winning and winning a World Series, and you guys talk about it, and you've been open about it with each other and consistent. How important is it to visualize when you guys go down or at any point, and how do you almost maintain your breath at that point too in those moments?
Yeah, I mean, it's a series, right? That's why this is a series. Do you want to win the first game of the series? Absolutely. You feel like you have a great performance yesterday from Wheeler, and which was phenomenal. And we just weren't able to finish it, and that's baseball sometimes, and that's why this is a series. You got to put the pieces together to figure out a way to win 3 games. And would it be great would it be great, I guess, you could ask them on the same side that, do they want to, sweep? They want to sweep us, I'm sure. They want this thing to be over quickly as they can. But also, too, like, it's a series. We got to figure out what we're going to do, and we got to respond today and see what happens. And if we go out there with a win, now we're split 1-1, and we're going into New York and piece it together from there.
Okay, next question. We got right here in the front row.
Hi, Kyle. I was going to ask something similar. As a hitter, it seems like in the past you share whether you get no hits or 3 hits and 2 home runs. It doesn't matter if the team wins. Similarly, whether you win or lose the game, you can isolate that as you're allowed to lose 2 games. It's about how you construct a series, and however you get there, that's really what matters. So you don't get too discouraged if something doesn't go the way you want. Yeah,
I mean, that's the biggest thing is for us as a group, to where if we can stay in a mindset of, and I know this for a fact, everyone in the room up there, when we're walking out of those doors for game time, we're expecting to win the game. And you got to have that mindset. You got to have that mindset of that we're going to go win a baseball game. And you know what? This is baseball. That you could feel like that you had your A stuff and you get shut out, or you had your D game and you just won 10-3, right? Like, that's how this game is. And for us as a group, we have to be able to still have that up here. And when we walk out for that game today, have our plan, have our approach, have the discipline, and go out there and play our game, and we're going to take the result at the end of the game.
Okay, down here in the front.
Nick was saying after yesterday's game that both teams had difficulty hitting the ball with the late afternoon shadows. Is that really a thing, or is it just something you guys just have to adjust to?
Well, it's definitely something we're going to have to adjust to, just because it's there. And I think if you were to talk to any hitter in the big leagues, you'd hope for a game without shadows, just because it's a when you go from the ball going from different shades, right? When it's bright, dark, bright, whatever it is, batter's eye is bright and this is dark. It can make it difficult, but at the end of the day, also it's, both teams got to do it, and for us, we got to be able to adjust to it and go from there. We played 4:00 games here before, and for us, we just got to find a way to get it done. And ideally, would you want to play in a shadow game? Probably not, but it's what's given to us, and we got to attack it.
Can you go far left against the wall, Todd?
Kyle, since last year, you guys have been asked, Rob's been asked like a billion times about chase and not chasing. And as you guys go in today's game as a group, how do you maybe take those negative thoughts out of your head and to maintain like an aggressiveness and just have quality at bats? But it seems kind of like a yin and yang there.
Yeah, I think the challenge is, for us is to where if we can be aggressive to where we want to be, I think that's going to be plus for us, right? Like, if we're going to be aggressive to where, I could be different to where, Bryce wants to be, or where Trey wants to be, or where Bryce and Nick, whoever, you go through the lineup, right? That, if you want to be aggressive to where you want to be in the zone, that's going to be a good thing. And I think that's the way that we have to attack it. And chase happens, right? Like, it's part of the game. Stuff's great now. Everyone throws great stuff, and it's part of the game. But also too, if we're able to be as, I guess, selective, right? Selective is a word that, selective to where you want to be, besides don't chase. That, no one's going in the, talking in the room saying don't chase, right? Like, we're talking about where we want to be in the zone.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
Rob Thomson will be in at 12:30.
Hey, Rob, why is Bohm out of the lineup today?
I want to get some energy in the lineup with Sosa. He's kind of our energy guy. He's not swinging the bat particularly well, but, he's not the only one. He's frustrated, but I just want to get Sosa in there.
Okay, we're going to go in the middle.
Hey, Rob, how did Bohm take it when you told him he wasn't going to be in the lineup? And then I guess he seemed very frustrated after a few at-bats yesterday throwing his helmet. Like, did that contribute at all?
Well, the frustration part of it, yeah. Not necessarily throwing his helmet, but I know he's frustrated because he wants to produce, and he's a professional, and so he is frustrated. So, it's just one of those things. And like I said, I just wanted to get Sosa in there, and he's kind of an energy guy. He makes things happen usually when he's in there. So,
In the middle towards the back.
Sosa struggled a little bit in September as well. So what do you kind of like out of him and what he might bring to the lineup?
His energy. He goes out there and he runs around, and I think he energizes other people as well, and that's what we need.
Over here on the right.
Hey, Rob, do you think the move might send a wake-up message to the rest of the team? And on the flip side, do you worry that some people might interpret it as a sign of panic, for lack of a better word?
I really don't worry about what other people necessarily think or see. I do what I think is the best thing for the ball club on a daily basis. So, and as far as a wake-up call, no, not really. I think these guys are well aware of what needs to be done. I don't think they need a wake-up call for sure.
Okay, on the left, over there in the middle.
Yesterday, you allowed Wheeler to throw the most pitches in the postseason since the 2020 World Series. How long is Chris Sanchez's leash for today?
As long as he's throwing the ball well. So he's maxed out if he's throwing the ball well, and that's 100, 105 pitches. But with the day off tomorrow, we do have the luxury of moving fast.
Okay, and just stay over there, Howard.
Hey, Rob. I was talking to Kyle about just his improvement against left-handed pitching, specifically their, sinker slider stuff. I'm wondering if you've seen any change over the course of the year in how opposing bullpens attack you guys, with the lefty-righty-lefty that you have there, and whether it makes it an easier call for you to kind of keep that the way it's been, with Schwarber, Trey, and then Bryce.
Yeah, I think as the season has gone on, that pocket has seen less and less lefties. They still get them, but not. I don't think quite as often. And yeah, it's easy call now. The way those two guys have hit lefties, just leave them right where they're at.
Okay, second row, far left.
Rob, I understand the reasoning for today, but Bohm's a big part of what you've done this year. He's in the middle of the lineup all year. How confident are you that he can contribute down the stretch? Because to get to where you want to go, I'm sure you expect contributions over the next couple weeks from him.
Oh, absolutely. And he'll be in there tomorrow with the lefty on the mound, for sure. And I expect him to hit. I expect him to hit every day because he's a really good hitter.
Going down here in the middle, first row.
Hey, Rob. So a couple guys mentioned the shadows being an issue for them. That's not really something that you can control or change going into today. Is there anything that you guys are focusing on, or what are you telling the guys to try to overcome that?
I mean, it's on both sides of the ball. The Mets have the same thing, so it's we're all playing on the same field. So I'm not sure what you can tell them really, other than try to pick up the ball as early as you can.
You go right next to you, right here.
During the regular season, and I know playoffs and regular seasons are obviously different, but are you counting on that capacity to flush out a difficult game the way you've done pretty much all the time, even in a short series like this?
Yeah, I think our guys, they're a very resilient group, and I've said it many times over the course of the years, they have a short memory, and they know that today's a new day, and they're going to come out here and they're going to prepare and they're going to go out and compete at a high level. And I don't think they remember anything about yesterday other than the fact that we need to control the strike zone on both sides of the ball.
Okay, stay here in the front.
Hey, Rob. While they have responded well this year to losses, in terms of Edmundo going into the starting lineup for energy, how much do you sense that the club needs an energy boost?
I think so, after last night. And I think, he's a guy that with one swing of the bat can change a game, with his speed or with his power. And but I think any time that you come off a tough loss like that, I think a little energy helps.
Okay, we're going to go back to Alex.
Did you guys do anything different this morning in terms of preparation, like any extra work in the cage or anything like that?
I think it's just normal routine.
In the green, in the middle again.
This move in the lineup, it moves Stott up to fifth. He struggled a little bit this year. Do you sort of, even if you get that energy boost from Sosa, but you worry about just, even with Bohm's struggles, a little less threat of power and damage and what it does for the depth of your lineup?
Not really. Stott's hit up in the middle of the lineup before and has done very well. If he maintains his approach, which is get good pitches to hit, use the entire field, low to left, high to right, he's going to be fine.
Okay, we'll take one more here on the far right.
Rob, following up on the shadows, every game in the series could start at 4 or 5 o'clock. So what impact do you think that could have? And do you think it could have been set up a little differently because 2 series are playing every game during the day and 2 are playing every game at night?
Yeah, I'm not involved in the organization of what time we play. But yeah, I mean, shadows are shadows. You got to deal with it and deal with it as best as you can. And you know, it's not like we can turn the lights down in the cage or hit in the dark or anything like that. It's going to help us. So, you know, you just got to deal with it and adjust as best you can.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Orion, now that you've seen the Mets offense multiple times this year, what type of challenges do they bring for you as a reliever?
I mean, like you said, we just faced them a lot this year and just kind of seeing the same guys over and over again. So it's just not trying to overdo what you do all year and how you got them out. So try to attack them the same way, kind of same game plan no matter what.
Okay, go Howard.
The pitch mix changed this year, and you obviously swapped out the two-seamer for the four-seamer. A little lower in terms of strikeouts, but the walk rate is halved, and I'm just wondering, overall, what have you seen out of that change? Does this feel like a pitch mix going forward that you are happier with?
100%, yeah. Just kind of helping out with both righties and lefties between the counts and different hitters and like what their tendencies are with some guys, whether it's even a lefty throwing that sinker or two-seam, and then same with righties especially, just trying to get that ground ball pitch to them.
Right here in the second row.
Orion, given the way the pitches broke for you yesterday, how close did you feel to executing compared to kind of how the results came?
I felt like I executed the pitches I needed to. I mean, JD put a really good pitch on, or a good hit on the barrel on the ball, and just kind of tip your cap on that one. Just kind of executed where JT wanted it and put a go ball in play, and maybe left that slider up a little bit too much to Marte, but I got the pitches I needed and just not the outs I wanted for that specific situation between moving the runners and sack flies and stuff like that.
Okay, far left.
Orion, obviously not a lot of nights like last night for guys like Strom and Hoffman especially. As a bullpen as a whole, do you kind of welcome the opportunity that you have such another high-stakes game today and you could be right back out there in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning in a close game tonight?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I mean, yesterday is what it is, and guys know that out there. It's like we had such a veteran staff, and between starting relievers especially, and just it is what it is. Everyone's got a bad day once in a while. I mean, if you look at all of our stuff, we have more zeros and 3 runs, 5 runs given up in an outing, so I think that's what we can take away from it. It's just there's every game that we pitch, I'm sure we have over 60 appearances between all of us, and I'm sure there's probably 3 out of those 60 that's been a bad day. So to me, that's not a bad day at all. It just is what it is. Move on from it because we have hopefully another 11 more games to win, and we're going to win it all.
Okay, anything else for Orion? Good. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right.
Yeah.